Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Guitar Q&A brought to us by SongBike on YouTube. I always try to start with a few pretty chords. Hey, everybody. I hope you had a great week. I had a great week, and the weather is turning out to be a great weekend here in Connecticut. I hope you guys are all doing well. I'm extra excited about tonight's show. I got stuff. Now, number one, I'm here for your questions, and I see we got 22 people right out of the gate. Excellent, excellent. So please ask me a question. Put a few question marks in advance so I know your question is aimed at me, and I'll get right down to answering them. In between your questions, boy, do I have stuff to share with you. So in no particular order, actually it's totally in an order, things I want to share with you include, there's really only two mistakes you're ever going to make on the guitar. I want to talk to you about those two mistakes. You think you make a lot of mistakes? It all boils down to two things. I have a student quote of the week for you. I want to talk about playing lightly, having a light touch. Why is playing lightly so hard? It's hard to play soft. We're going to talk about that. I have a very interesting link to share. A guy who is learning how to play the guitar, right? What could be more commonplace than an adult learning how to play the guitar? Well, if you are a product of MIT and Harvard and you have written extensively about learning new things, it's kind of interesting when you decide to start playing the guitar. So I want to share that link with you. Why is it so frustrating watching music documentaries? My buddy Clay said, oh, you got to watch this documentary about Rush. And so I was having a great time watching this documentary about the band Rush. And I was reminded of what makes me crazy about music documentaries. I'm going to share that with you because it might make you crazy too. I have a dumb question of the week for you. Of course I do. I have an exercise to share with you called the 30-year exercise. You guys seen that music documentary called It Might Get Loud? Some of you have seen that, I know. Very interesting. It features three guitar players, Jimmy Page, The Edge, and Jack White. And my friend Clay and I were talking about how we didn't love the chemistry of those three guys. That's just that we weren't feeling it exactly. And so instead of rehearsing the songs that we were supposed to be rehearsing, we talked about who we'd rather see, who would be like a very cool trio of guitar players. So I have some names to throw out. I'm curious about what you would think about who you would cast in a guitar documentary, where the whole point of the documentary is three guitar players getting to know each other and talking about stuff. Some of the coolest guitar players on YouTube. I'm going to tie that in with the recasting of It Might Get Loud. We got a play along song of the week. We have dun dun dun, a negative comment. Every once in a while, yours truly gets a negative comment on YouTube. We got a good one this week, a good negative comment. I can't wait to share it with you. The commenter put a lot of time and thought into it. We will as well, you know. So those are several of the things to talk about. Oh, got a book of the month to show you. Got some magazines. My wife, we're going on vacation. My wife got me a magazine to read on vacation, and I opened up, and right there, I wasn't even on page one. I was on the inside cover before I even got to page one. There's already something I thought, oh, I gotta share that with the song bikers here at the SongBike Guitar Q&A live stream. Today is number 58. Are we on number 58 already? Oh, I have an update about my custom guitar to share with you. Lots of stuff to talk about. So stick around, everybody. Bruce, I see your question, and let's hop on that right now. Bruce from Sydney, Australia. We know Bruce. Yeah, great. Bruce says, I'm probably an intermediate level player, but never played in bands. How do you improve beyond intermediate? What kind of skills are beyond intermediate? Big, huge topic. Ooh, that's the kind of thing that you guys could jump in as well. You know, you guys have heard me talk about being an intermediate guitar player. Well, what are some of the things? Instead of saying there's one thing, what are some of the things that come to mind when you say, oh, that guy, that player, man, woman, child, no longer intermediate? What's the next step? How about if you get paid? that never hurts, right? You're getting paid. You've made it. Any amount for any music, you are not intermediate anymore. How about that for a determining factor? Hey Val, welcome. So one of some of the things that come to mind if I had to explain, I'm going to use the term advanced just because it seems to be a logical term beyond intermediate. What does it mean to be an advanced guitar player? How about playing a song all the way through, no excuses, no missed notes, nothing? You just bang out the song. And you're capable of doing it with all the other musicians who are banging out the song behind you, bass, guitar, drums, keyboard, singing, bang. Now, if you can do that, and then you can do that with, let's say, one set of music. If you can play, let's say, 8 songs, whatever the guitar part is for those 8 songs, bang, no excuses. If you're the rhythm guitar player, the chord changes, the strumming patterns, bang. If you're the lead guitar player, whatever lead guitar riffs are baked into the tune. If there's certain things that you have to play, because that's how those are the riffs of the tune. And then you can take a solo, or you can note for note duplicate whatever the solo happens to be in the tune. Yeah, and then you can do that with one set's worth of music. Excellent. So to me, that strikes, that seems like we're talking about competency. It's not that you can do a physical skill better than someone who's, quote, intermediate, but you can do it all night long, song after song. They don't even have to be particularly hard songs, right? 4-chord songs, rock and roll tunes, for example, blues tunes, straightforward stuff. I always use Steely Dan as an example of not straightforward stuff, or like Stevie Wonder. There's some tunes with some pretty funky chord changes. So those are some things that come to mind. If you're a solo performer, maybe you're finger picking, you're singing and you're finger picking. Well, you've got a few different finger picking patterns, so the songs don't all sound the same. You're either exactly duplicating what the person is doing on the recording, or you have a finger picking pattern that is really appropriate for that song. But a few of them, so your songs don't all sound the same. All the lyrics. You don't need any cheat sheets. You can just look at your loving audience and perform, one set of music. Let's say 8 songs. Yeah. Those are some of the things. Now, notice I'm identifying your performance abilities as something that makes you advanced. Someone else might say, how fast you can play something. Can you do, C major scales, 2-octave C major scale up and down the neck at 160 beats per minute, something like that. Not a crazy idea, by the way. If you are so inclined to think that way, that's not a crazy way to judge your progress. It's just not the first thing that came to mind for me. But the thing about practicing a finite thing like a major scale and doing it with a metronome, there's very little margin for interpretation, right? You're either doing it or you're not, and you're either doing it with a metronome or you're not, So that, even though it's not my instinct to judge someone's progress that way, it's not a crazy way to judge someone's progress, being able to play with another musician, say going back and forth, having a blues jam with another musician, but doing it sort of effortlessly. You've got a specific framework, like a rhythm guitar framework. I'm going to do the good old the tore down, I'm tore down riff. So one of you is doing this, and you're doing it with a 12-bar format, so you know when to change, you know where to go. I know you really can't see my hands here. And the other person is soloing, and then without even breaking stride, you get to the end of the 12 bars, and you change places, and you get right back, and you change places. Yeah, I would consider that to be an advanced skill. Again, where I'm coming from is worth noting. As a teacher, I consider a beginner someone who just got the guitar that morning. That's a beginner. If you played the guitar for a few years, you're not a beginner in my book. You might call yourself that, but this is where I'm coming from. That's a beginner. A beginner is really truly means beginner. The intermediate world is a big gray area, but you guys have seen me run down a list of things that, you know, fit the intermediate, or ways to know that you're intermediate. You know, we've gone over that in previous live streams. You can check out those. And I think we do it just last week. I think we did a reminder of that just last week. Everything's time stamped. You can go back to last week's live stream and see that. And advanced, to me, advanced, it's the equivalent. Remember when your mom and dad let go of the bicycle and you kept on going? Yeah. So you're hanging out with real musicians and you can do it. And before you know it, you're that real musician because you're just playing and they're playing. And again, we're not necessarily talking about sophisticated tunes, you know, a country tune, 4 chords, 3 chords, but you're cruising through it at the appropriate speed as if it's no big deal. And you're ready to do it again and again and again. And to use one set, you know, 45 minutes, if you can do that for 45 minutes, that's, to me, that's my definition of an advanced guitar player. Someone who's riding that bicycle, no one's holding on anymore. You're cruising. You can stop, start, you know. Those are some of the things that come to mind. But, you know, that's, I'm gonna come revisit this topic, Bruce, because it's a great question. Since I came up with sort of a checklist of the intermediate stuff, which I'm going to pull up for a second here, then why not come up with a checklist of advanced stuff? So real quick, I'm just going to narrate this to you guys. Oh, well, hold on. Mr. Genius here is going to try to do a screen share. You might remember that didn't work great last week, but let's try it this week. Why not? If I do this, okay, share. Okay, can anybody see that? Can you guys see what I just put on the screen? If you can, awesome. If the screen just went black again, I apologize. But hopefully you can see that on the screen. I know it might be, yeah, I think you guys can see it's a little bit small. Someone yell at me if you can't see that list. Okay, so shall we read it together? Signs you're intermediate. Can we, you and I, can we play a song together? Can you play with a recording? Okay, thanks, Willie and Patricia, for confirming that you can see what I can see. Okay, can you and I play a song together? You and the teacher, you and a friend, or can you play with the recording? You got to have the chords memorized. You know the strum pattern. You can do it with confidence. You play without hesitations. You can sing and play at the same time. I'm not saying that all 4 of those are equally important, but those are signs. Remember what it says at the top of the page, signs that you're intermediate. If improvising is your thing, and believe me, if no reason to apologize, if what you are good at is improvising on top of a song, that's fantastic. Doesn't mean you're off the hook. You still got to learn the chord changes, the strum patterns, all that stuff. But if improvising is your thing, and I know a significant percentage of my students, improvising comes way more naturally than strumming the chords. Okay, if improvising is your thing, you got to have a scale memorized, the scale that's appropriate for that song. Can you play with some phrasing so you don't just sound like you're running up and down the scale? Play 4 notes, breathe. 3 notes, breathe. Can you target notes, meaning the band changes to a D chord? Can you play notes within the scale that reflect a D chord? You know, definitely a sign that you're intermediate. Can you play all 16 major, minor, and 7th chords from memory? Do you know a few different strum patterns? Do you know a few different finger picking patterns, if that's your thing? Can you play something without any warm-up? That's huge to me. What I often ask students, is there something that you just play automatically? You pick up your guitar and you start playing. And often people downplay that. And it's because they play it automatically, they don't think about it. So therefore they think it's not valuable or important. And most of the time I say, oh my God, you do that thing. That's what you do without any warm-up, without thing. That's your automatic go-to thing. That's awesome. Here's an interesting concept. You recognize when 2 songs are very similar. I know that's more of a brain skill than a finger skill, but so many songs are so similar to each other. When you begin to see those patterns, guess what? You are an intermediate guitar player. The 12-bar blues, that's a good thing to recognize as soon as possible, to be able to size up a song. It might not even be literally a blues song. You can definitely have country and rock tunes and even jazz tunes that are based on 12-bar blues. If you understand that form and can recognize it, you are intermediate. And speaking of blues, playing several classic blues patterns. Those are all, that's another sign that you're intermediate, especially if blues is your thing. Okay, so you guys get a good look at that. I'm going to stop sharing now. Ooh, success. Okay, here we go. Stop sharing. And we're back. Okay. So Bruce, I hope those are helpful, even though that was my intermediate list. But yeah, I'm going to give it some thought and you know, come back to that. You know, what are some signs you're an advanced player? You know, you might say, well, if I were advanced, I would know it. Kind of. Yeah, kind of. But then again, let's talk about that list in the future so you know some of the things to shoot for. And I'll say it one more time. That list I just showed, it's a conversation starter, right? You don't have to be good at everything on that list. It begins the conversation. You get it. You get the idea. You know, it's a big, big topic. Okay. Hey, we got a poll question going, and Deborah has a question about the poll question. The poll question tonight is has to do with open tunings. The poll question of the night is going on here. Okay. Have you ever tried open tuning? And the possible answers, I'm limited to 4 the way, you know, YouTube has it set up. No, I've never tried open tuning. I'm just not really interested. I find it kind of confusing. Not really sure about it. Answer 2, yes, I have, but I never really learned any songs from it. Answer number 3, yes, and I know a few songs that use open tuning. Answer number 4, yes, open tuning is a regular part of my playing. That's tonight's poll question. So please jump on that. I see 37 of you are in the chat. Hopefully that means that you are, or 37 of you are watching. Hopefully that means that we can get a bunch of votes in. So Deborah, let's get right to it. What is open tuning? Well, funny you should ask. I have good old Rusty here. Oh, by the way, my dumb question of the night. It's dumber than Deborah's. So Deborah, you don't get the dumb question of the night. I'm going to claim that. But my dumb question of the night is, does open tuning make things easier? So let's start with that as the dumb question of the night. And then Deborah, I'm going to answer your question, like what even is open tuning? And then it'll all make sense. Okay, where's my dumb question? I'm going to check off my box here. There we go. Okay, I got old Rusty. I grabbed old Rusty here. That name popped into my head today. I have a resonator guitar. It has a metal resonator. Also happens to be made out of metal, the body of the guitar. This is the Dobro brand. You guys have seen this. Every once in a while I grab this. Sometimes the little promo pictures I use to promote this live stream, I grab my Dobro brand resonator. It is currently in open tuning. By the way, the Dobro brand, the Dopira brothers started a company and they named it Dobro. Get it? Open tuning. Open tuning is when you tune the 6th strings so that you automatically get a chord before your fretting hand presses down on anything. Right now, I'm in open G tuning, which means that's a G chord. Notice there's no left hand in the camera shot right now. There, my left hand's doing nothing. So open tuning. It's a beautiful thing. The banjo, by the way, typically is in open tuning, especially if you're talking about the 5-string banjo that you hear in bluegrass, country, old-timey music. Banjo is in open tuning. Okay, so doesn't open tuning make everything easier? That's my dumb question of the night. Hey, you get G for free, right? I haven't even done anything. There's my G chord, right? So Deborah, that hopefully that gets you. Yeah, you get it, Deborah. Okay. So open tune. Now, open G is simply one open tuning. You can tune to anything under the sun. In fact, it's kind of surprising that we all tune to the conventional tuning, and that people have done that for decades and decades, because the guitar is such an incredibly versatile instrument. As soon as you start messing around with the tunings, all these other possibilities open up. And to my knowledge, no other instrument has that capability. Other stringed instruments do. But saxophone, trumpet, they can't twist their instruments a little bit and make beautiful new sounds. Okay, so here we are, open tuning. Why does it make some things easier? I'm going to answer my own question. Remember, the dumb question of the night was, does open tuning make things easier or harder? It makes some things easier. Now that I have my guitar tuned to open G, which, by the way, from fat to skinny is D, G, D, G again, B like baseball, D again, D, G, D, G, B, D. Interestingly, I didn't have to retune all the strings to get to where I am right now. I did not have to retune my second B string, my third G, or my fourth D, right? Because those are left over from standard conventional tuning. In fact, just the opposite. I could use those notes to tune by ear. I could pluck my third G string and loosen my fifth string, which used to be A, loosen that down to G, use that third G string as a reference. Hear that? 2 G strings, 1 octave apart. And same thing with the fourth D string. I could use that as my reference point for loosening both of my E strings, my outside E strings, loosening both of those down to D. So they all match. Okay, so life is good, right? This makes everything easier, right? Because now to get any major chord, I just clamp down hard across all 6 strings. And now I have a major chord, another major chord. I'm clamping down at the 5th fret, all 6 strings. I'm using my index finger, but just for the fun of it, I'm piggybacking my middle finger on top of it to really get some serious pressure. And there's a C chord. Big bar at 5 is a C chord. G to C. How about D? G, C, and D make a nice chord family. Same grip at the 7th fret. Instant D chord. Wow, life is good. So therefore, open tuning makes everything easier, right? Depends how you look at it. The instrument that we all have chosen to play has been recorded for decades and decades and decades with tons of amazing songs played in standard tuning. Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie, right? What was that other one I thought of the other day? Even brilliant guitarists drive an Econoline. How about this? Early birds got Dylan acting electric. Get it? Birds like Roger McGuinn and the Birds. Early birds got Dylan acting electric. I'm such a geek. Okay. Well, guess what? All those famous songs that are not in open tuning, well, open tuning doesn't help you play those songs. So you're stuck, right? You want to learn how to play Blackbird by the Beatles, Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd, all that stuff. If anything, open tuning makes it harder because that's not how the songs are written. You'd have to rewrite the entire song. Another reason why open tuning does not instantly make things easier, that thing I just did with clamping down hard across 6 strings, not easy, my friends. That's why I'm piggybacking my middle finger on top. I mean, I can do it, right? I'm putting some serious pressure there, So, is that easier than a regular C chord? I don't know. I bet you guys are pretty good at regular C. Now we got this clamping down. But there's a lot of great songs written in open tuning. Some of you guys know that Keith Richards is probably the most famous rock star who has written song after song, not just in open tuning, but specifically this open G tuning. He's known for actually just removing the 6th string completely from his Telecaster because he just doesn't use it. So just 5 strings because why not, So to play those songs, and I'm talking about a whole bunch of famous Rolling Stones songs, you absolutely have to be in open tuning. It would actually it would be hard / inauthentic to try to play those Rolling Stones songs in regular tuning. It wouldn't sound right. It wouldn't sound, I mean, you could fake it, but it just, you'd never get the exact character of the song right. So open tuning makes certain songs easier because those songs are written in open tuning, you know. What else could it make easier? Well, if you just wanted to play G, C, and D and just sing along, sure, then you're up and running. Maybe, you know, if someone was 100% beginner, 100%, and they got a guitar, open tuning, and they just wrote song after song, and they learned song after song, all major chords, and they just clamped down hard. And that, yeah, I mean, you could build a repertoire like that. You could, but notice the limitations, right? We're talking about, you know, kind of creating your own set list, but you couldn't easily play all the most famous guitar songs, you know, that are the famous ones that are in conventional tuning. So again, to wrap up, dumb question of the night: does open tuning make guitar easier or harder? Kind of depends what you're going for, right? It kind of depends. Is it fun? Is it awesome? Yes. Should you buy another guitar and leave it in open tuning? Yeah, totally. When you do that, don't forget to use the Sweetwater link. And this is when I always take a opportunity to put this in the chat, because I don't know, why not? One way we all can support what we're doing here is shop at Sweetwater using this link. And I'm putting it in the chat, but it's also in the description of every video. So yeah, so get yourself a bonus guitar, put it in open tuning, and then all of a sudden you can start doing a whole bunch of stuff that you just never were really ever going to play correctly in standard tuning. Like, for example, a bunch of Rolling Stone songs, for example. Those are not the only ones. There's some Led Zeppelin songs that are in open tuning, for example. Okay. If you are interested in slide guitar, slide guitar is very, very often done in open tuning. To get a lot of the classic slide guitar sounds, you pretty much have to be in open tuning. Is it possible to recreate them without that? Yeah, but if the originals are all done in open tuning, wouldn't you rather be in open tuning? So for the record, I'm not saying you can't ever learn to play slide guitar unless you tune your guitar differently. I'm not saying that, but the way I learned it and what I highly recommend is to learn beautiful, classic, timeless slide guitar music done by the masters and do an open tuning just like they did. So open tuning. Yeah, beginner guitar lessons, as asking about the Led Zeppelin song called Kashmir. I believe that is an open tuning, yeah. And there's you know, baby steps towards open tuning. For instance, just loosening your fat E string down to D, but leaving the other 5 in conventional tuning. That's known as drop D tuning. A lot of famous tunes are in drop D tuning. Again, there's so many possibilities. I saw, yeah, Bruce mentioned about Joni Mitchell's tunings. Yeah, Bruce is asking, do I know about the different kinds of tunings? I don't know specifically. I do know that I saw a quote. I saved it, and I'll share it with you if I can find it again. I think I did a screenshot of it again. Joni Mitchell was already performing in standard tuning and, you know, beginning her career. And then someone turned her on to open tunings. And she basically said, my life was never the same after that, because it's not that she learned an open G tuning and then wrote all her most famous songs. My understanding is that she became aware that anything goes. You can tune any guitar to anything and then begin, you know, writing your songs. And to my understanding, that's exactly what she did. And that's why her songs and her chords are so, so, so unique. And she's not the only one, but yeah. Hey, now's a good time to say hello to Beginner Guitar Lessons and to say thank you for being our moderator. His name is in blue. He gets the wrench. That's what he gets. He gets the wrench right there. Okay, so we just covered Deborah's excellent question, and we covered my dumb question of the week. And let's see how we're doing in the poll question here. the poll question. Hold on. Okay, we have 31 votes in 31 minutes. And yeah, we're kind of covering a lot of ground. Okay, so the question was, have you ever tried open tuning? Here are the early results. No, say 42% of you. 35% say yeah, but I never really learned any songs. 16% say yes. Oh, no, sorry. Oh, yeah, no. 35% said yes, but I never learned any songs. 16% said yes, but I only learned a few songs. And 6% say yes, I use open tuning regularly. There you go. But we got plenty of time, so keep those votes coming in. Okay. Okay. Okay, bear with me, folks. Scott, I see your question. I'll get to that in a moment. Chris, I see your question. Okay, Chris Creates asks, is there a danger of making a string higher than it's supposed to be and putting too much stress on the neck? Yeah, you could break a string. Yeah, you can. It's not gonna, the danger is in breaking strings. Realistically, it's not gonna hurt the neck unless all 6 strings are cranked up super tight for long periods of time, in which case you're probably gonna break a string anyways. So no, I wouldn't worry about it. On acoustic guitar, the one thing we all should be looking out for at all times, regardless of tuning and all that, is the wooden bridge coming unglued. And for most of us, it comes unglued a little bit at first and then gets more unglued if you don't fix it. So one way to tell is take a piece of paper like a business card, put it flat against the face of your guitar, and try to work it under that wooden bridge and see if you can, if it goes under in any significant way, then it's time to get a guitar tech to put a drop of glue in there, clamp it back down. It's no big deal. Glue dries over time. As it dries, it's less effective, and the bridge starts to come up. The bridge is under pressure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, whether you're playing it or not, right? Constant pressure. And the glue is going to dry out and give at some point. Your job is not to prevent that. Your job is to get it addressed as soon as it starts to happen. It'd be a miracle if it never happened to you. And hey, if you have multiple guitars, acoustic guitars, but you don't play them all that regularly, then definitely check up on the ones that are under the bed or in the closet, because it's totally likely that when you finally get around to playing those guitars, open the closet, open the case, get the guitar, and the bridge might be completely off the guitar, or it might have pulled away to the extent that it's starting to pull away at the wood itself. Anything can be fixed, but that's not how you want to spend your money, And then even if it's fixed, there could be some cosmetic damage, and you don't want to. Yeah, it's avoidable. It's avoidable. So it just not a total coincidence. The open tuning that I prefer, a lot of people prefer this open G tuning, involves actually loosening the strings rather than tightening them. So in this case, if anything, open G is a relief to the guitar. Remember, I loosened the two outside strings, the 2 E's got loosened down to D like Delta. The 5th string A got loosened down to G like golf. And the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th stay the same. Okay, one last thing about open tuning, then we'll move on. Let's say you tune, you loosen down the 3 strings I just mentioned, and you get them perfectly in tune. Double check the 3 that you did not retune, because chances are they need to be tweaked as well. Don't just assume that because you didn't touch the tuning knobs, they're going to be perfectly in tune. You want to double check or triple check everything, and just a good habit. So yeah, okay. Yeah, Charlie. Charlie's confirming that Keith Richards often plays 5-string Telecaster guitars. Why not? Kind of cool. Scott says, if I only had one guitar to leave an alternate tuning, would I choose an open tuning, a drop D, or something else? Yeah, I'd go full-on open tuning, because drop D just involves just loosening your fat string down to D or putting it back up to the E where it was. That doesn't seem to be that's easy peasy. It's not much of a commitment, right? One string. But once you get into open tuning, like I just said, changing, in this case, loosening 3 of the 6 strings, yeah, that's nice to have a guitar that's already that way. And I'll say it one more time, open G tuning is just one. Open D tuning also involves loosening a bunch of the strings, not all of them, but a bunch of the strings. So again, it takes a little bit of the stress off. Tell me if this makes sense. Open E tuning compared to open D tuning. Open E tuning is a higher sound in general, but the strings have the same relationships. So I guess what I'm saying is open D and open E, you could play the same song either way, but the open E tuning would be a higher sound and open D would be a little bit of a lower sound. So if you hear, don't let all these names like, oh man, it's open everything, open XYZ. Now open D and E, the strings have the same overall relationships. Open G and open A also have the same basic relationships. So for example, if I was in open G tuning and I had this cool slide guitar book and said, okay, so-and-so, this song was recorded in the key of A, and here's how he played it with open A tuning, I would not retune my guitar. I'm in open G, it's fine. It's you know what I mean? It's everything is going to sound cool. If I went to play along with his recording, I would capo up at the 2nd fret, or I might just bite the bullet and tighten. If it was that important to me, I might tighten everything up and go to open A tuning. But just so you know, if you're already in open G tuning and you have some learning material that's in open A tuning, yeah, don't retune. Same thing with D and E. And then there's tunings like Joni Mitchell where you're all over the place. Like who knows? I've never seen anyone break down on a song by song basis what tuning she's in, but I have to admit I also haven't looked. So it's totally possible someone has done that legwork, and maybe she's done that. We're talking about famous people teaching the rest of us their songs, like teaching us themselves. That would be so cool to find out, how to play those classic Joni Mitchell tunes, all her tunes, but learn it from her. I saw her in concert, and from my point of view, a few rows back, her strumming was not sophisticated, fancy strumming. What was sophisticated was the chords she was getting. So my guess would be that if we all had a private master class with Joni Mitchell, I bet in general, we could keep up with her right hand okay. It would be her fretting hand that would be new for a lot of us, just unconventional chord grips and stuff. But when I saw her, I'll tell you what, she was not doing crazy left hand chords. From my viewpoint, her left hand was doing relatively simple looking things. I just didn't recognize them because they weren't conventional C and E and G and all that kind of stuff. Okay. I always feel like I run low on time. So now is as good a time as any. Oh, no live stream next Saturday. I'll be in the great state of Maine like I was last year about this time. No live stream next Saturday. I'll miss you, but we'll do this all again in 2 weeks. I'll probably mention this again later in the live stream for those of us who are joining us, but I want to say it now. I do plan on making a few visits to some local guitar shops in the southern Maine area. So those of you who live around there, I was thinking about maybe Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, because it looks like Wednesday is going to be a rainy-ish day. So if you want to know for sure, please just follow me on Instagram or Facebook, and that you can find that information in the description of any one of these live streams. But just go to Instagram or Facebook, do a search for the term SongBike, you'll find me. And that's when I'll announce for sure, what guitar shops I'm going to and when. But I'm thinking this Wednesday, I really liked Buck Dancer's Choice in Portland, Maine. I liked Gary's Guitars in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. That's the other direction. If I had to predict, I guess Buck Dancer's Choice up in Portland, Maine would be my first choice. But please just follow me on social media. That's how I'll let folks know. But that's what I'm thinking this coming up Wednesday. Okay. let us take a moment and talk about really the only two mistakes. There's only two mistakes that we all make on the guitar. Now, I know you're saying that you make mistakes all the time, and I do too. We make thousands of mistakes, and that we're here. But there's really only two mistakes. One mistake, though, would be not enjoying the taste experience, the flavor extravaganza from the cool rippling waters of East Haven, Connecticut, Foxen Park. Tonight we're enjoying the white birch caffeine-free flavor. Mistake number one. It's only two. Mistake number one. You don't know what to do next. Either because you're in the middle of the song that you thought you memorized and you freeze, like, oh, I don't know what to do. You know, you make a mistake because you thought, okay, maybe it's the 7th fret, and nope. The number one mistake is either your memory failed and you grabbed the wrong note, or you're so new to the exercise, to the song, you literally don't know what to do next. And maybe you take a guess and you realize, I got to look back at the screen, look back at the paper, whatever, because I don't know what to do next. Maybe it's something unfamiliar, like a certain chord grip, and you put your fingers down, you think you got it right, and you strum, and like, yeah, wait, that's not, it sounds bad. Your ear tells you, thank goodness we have 2 ears. Your ear tells you that chord is wrong. So you got to look back at the diagram and figure it out, look back at the tab and figure it out. So the number one mistake is either you're so new to the thing that you don't really know what the next chord is. You don't really know what the next thing is. You're making these guesses. Or you thought you knew, you were playing it by memory, and it turns out that your memory isn't that amazing. You know, halfway through you play the wrong note. But I'm describing this first mistake as you simply don't know what to do next. That's okay. You know, for whatever reason, you got a few notes or a few measures into a song, a few chords into a song, and then something sounded really bad. And it's because you just weren't sure, right? Mistake number one, you just weren't sure what to do next. That sums up a ton of the mistakes that we all make. And usually it's we're just too new to a topic, too new to a song. It's our first day trying an exercise. We're just not there yet. So yeah, you're going to make a bunch of mistakes until you either have it totally memorized or you come to some sort of understanding to what's going on. For instance, oh yeah, this thing is a C chord, but it's a C chord with my pinky joining in on the skinny E string 3rd fret. Okay, now I understand that it's not the typical C chord, it's this new C chord or this modified C chord. Okay, so mistake number one, no, it's okay, but you just don't understand what the thing is. You know, you're not there yet. Mistake number two, your hands can't keep up with your brain. Your brain knows very well what to do next. You do remember, oh, it's this thing, it's that chord, it's that note, it's that stretch, it's that riff. And your hand just can't get there fast enough. So your hands make a jump in that direction, but that your hands can't keep up with your brain. Your brain is telling you, here's how the song goes. It goes at this speed. And your fingers are like, come on, man, give me a break. You know, they just can't keep up. That second mistake, that's a way to describe a ton of the bad sounds that we make. It's not that you don't understand the thing. You're just taking it too fast. Again, your fingers can't keep up with your brain. Guess what the solution is? Very humbling. The solution is slowing things down. The solution to everything is slowing down. Everything on the guitar anyways. Maybe other things in life. The solution to practically everything on the guitar is just play it slower. I've joked, half jokingly, I'm just going to get a tattoo on my forehead that just says slow down. And I'll just sit there during lessons and just point to it once in a while. You know, those are the two mistakes that we all make. Let's say those are the roots of the two mistakes that we all make. You don't fully understand. I'd say you, really, I mean all of us, right? I don't fully understand what I'm doing. Okay, fair enough. You know, I thought I had it memorized. I guess I don't have it memorized. I thought I remembered the next chord. It's not what I thought it was going to be. And the second cause of the mistakes that we make, you're just going too fast. Now, I'm open to other suggestions for a third, like, roots of why we make mistakes, a third source of mistakes. I'm throwing these two ideas out there to begin the conversation, but it seems to me like most every mistake relates to one of those things. The one that I'm dodging is, yeah, you know how to play, let's say, an F chord. You know what to do. Your fingers just aren't good at it yet. Yeah, now that's different. You know why? Because that's not a mistake. You know exactly what to do. You're going slowly. You just can't bend your fingers that way yet. Okay, so let's not call that a mistake, because it's not a mistake, right? It just you can't do it yet. You can't stretch up with your pinky. You can't get the bar chord just right so all 6 strings ring clearly. Okay, let's not call that a mistake. So if you take that thing off the table, I propose that there's only 2 mistakes. Okay, there you go. On the lighter side, you want to hear the student quote of the week? This came from a high school age student who is awesome. She is a multi-instrumentalist. She comes to my part of Connecticut in the summer, and she lives somewhere else during the school year. But summer after summer, she comes in, takes a summer worth of lessons, and heads back home again. She is one of the most musical human beings I've ever met. She's awesome. And she said something, and I thought, quote of the week. Her fretting hand wasn't being 100% successful. I noticed that her fingernails were getting a little bit long. I said, oh, easy solution, cut your nails. She said, I can't cut my nails because I'm going to a concert. Blink, blink. Okay, fair enough. Because when you go to a concert, I guess we can all agree, can't we, that you really want your nails to look fabulous at the concert. Later, you can address the issue. But yeah, okay. I was speechless. I just nodded. Okay. Let me tell you, as soon as she cuts her nails, she's going to be a great guitar player. She really is. Yeah. No one ever said that to me before. Okay. So I don't know if she's been to the concert yet. I don't even know if she told me who the concert was, I think I forgot. Doesn't matter. But she wanted to look good at the concert. Okay, fair enough. I get it. So that's the student quote of the week. I got a kick out of that. I hope you enjoyed that too. Student quote of the week. Okay, back to the chat. Remember, folks, if and when you have a question for me, just put some question marks in advance. That's how I know. Yeah, beginner guitar lesson says slow down to speed up. Exactly. The trick to being a fast guitar player is practicing slowly, getting it right, accuracy, and then you'll go faster and faster and faster. Hey, Don, you opened this line of questioning, so I'm going to answer it. Don says, how's that custom guitar coming along? Okay, Don, since you asked, it's coming along great. This week coming up, it's being shipped to me, and I'll be gone. So I have a plan in place. The guitar will arrive. It's all going to work out. But sure, of course, LSL Guitars out in Southern California, they finished up my guitar. They sent me some beautiful pictures of this custom electric guitar that I ordered to celebrate 30 years of being a guitar teacher. I thought I'd get myself a little something. And they finished up, and they said, okay, we're going to be shipping it to you. And I said, oh, I'm going to be out of town. Isn't that life? That's life, right? But it's okay. It's going to, long story short, it's going to a family member who's going to sign for it, have UPS put it in a safe place inside the house, and it'll be waiting for me when I'm back from vacation. I'm a happy guy. What can I tell you? I'm excited about it. I'm not going to see you guys this coming Saturday, so I will certainly have it on the live stream August 10th. I think that's a Saturday, 10, 11. Yeah, Saturday, August 10th. But I'll probably be posting about it before Saturday, August 10th, I think. So again, social media, I'll be posting about it. Very excited. And it just seemed to, I told LSL that plan B would be for them to hold on to it and ship it so it arrived when I was home and could sign for it. And we went back and forth. And we decided, just ship it now. So it's in transit from one coast to another. And sometime middle of next week, it shows up. I'm very excited. At this point, I have taught guitar for 32 years. So it's celebrating my 32nd anniversary of teaching the guitar. I realized that I hadn't, the last time I got a new guitar of any sort, even a new used guitar, so to speak, I think was around 2004, 5, 6. I don't know, man, 20 years without a new guitar. Oh, wow. Ouch. It was a cool guitar, and I passed it on to a friend of mine a year or two ago. It was a cool Squier Telecaster, Fender Squier Telecaster with P90 pickups that I purchased secondhand from a fantastic guitar player named Duke Robillard. Duke, if you don't know who Duke Robillard is, now you do. Great guitar player. Check him out. Duke Robillard, Robillard. He lives over here in the New England part of the country. And a buddy of mine was taking lessons from him and said, Duke is selling off a bunch of his guitars. And I said, does he have anything I could afford? And yeah, for I think about $250, I got Duke Robillard's Squier Telecaster with P90 pickups, a very cool guitar. Long story short, I wasn't playing it too much, and a friend of mine really wanted it. I said, yeah, it's all yours. And we worked out a deal. So Don, there you go. New guitar. I'll be using it on the live stream, hopefully August 10th, and it's arriving here in Connecticut on later, middle of next week. I'm very excited, super duper excited. Okay. I'm looking to make sure I haven't missed anything specific. Yeah, beginning guitar lessons is making a good point. I hope I'm reading this correctly. Beginning guitar lesson says playing slowly actually causes him to make mistakes because he like overthinks what he's doing. Yeah, I get it. It's still the right thing to do. But playing slow, this will tie in with another topic today. Playing slowly is weird. It surely must use either a different part of your brain or maybe includes a bonus part of your brain. I've definitely seen people struggle with playing something slowly and swear up and down they cannot do it slowly. Sometimes they're not doing a great job of doing it fast either, but it actually seems painful for them to play it slowly, which I think is fascinating, just fascinating. How about playing slowly and talking, explaining what you're doing as you're playing it? If you can do that, you should consider a career in teaching guitar. If you can play slowly and explain it, I don't know. I think that's pretty cool. And it's something that on a good day, I can do that. Most days, I can do that just fine. I'm proud of that. That I can't do it with everything under the sun, but when I do it, I'm playing slowly and I'm talking about it. I'm teaching, so to speak, right? Teaching. I think that might be my superpower: playing slowly and verbalizing what I'm doing. But not everybody can do that, honestly. Hey, Harrison, thank you for being here. Let me say a few hellos. I want to say hello to Harrison, Deborah, Descending from Sharp 9, Willie Snyder. I have not checked out the Alex Skolnick yet. Willie Snyder, the Alex Skolnick Blues Project, I went on Spotify and I did not find that. So is it possible he did not post that specific thing on Spotify? I'll check again. Deborah, thank you for your vacation wishes. I want to say hello to Danielle, Patricia. Patricia, I see your comment about your truss rod. I want to say hi to J. Paul Getty, Robbie 24ish, hello. Charlie Beagle, hello. Matt, hello. Chris, Don, Scott. Okay, this thing about playing slowly in my little mind ties in nicely with very much a related topic. Having a light touch. Why is having a light touch on the guitar such a difficult thing? And it is difficult. And I look back at different moments of progress I've made, and very often when I make some progress with something, and then my overall progress as a player, it almost always has to do with lightening up, not using every possible muscle in that limb, you know. And this is a topic, again, I'm fascinated by this, and I absolutely have no medical training, no anatomical training. I don't know, but that won't stop me because I think about this thing. Well, for 32 years, I've thought about this, and I would love Bill Collier. Are you there, Bill? Bill is knows a lot more than I do. Here's what I have come up with. Let's take a chord. We all squeeze harder on chords than we have to. Me too. We all do it. We want to avoid that dead buzzing sound. I get it. I get it. I also think that we have this ancient drive to win, right? We want to win. We're in this competition with this inanimate object, and we're going to throw every muscle at it so we can win, because that's what humans do, right? That's what got us to this amazing point in evolution where we are, right? If someone gives you a challenge, you use everything you can. So you're squeezing your brains out, and if it doesn't sound right, guess what? You squeeze harder, right? You know, and if 4 of the 5 or 5 of the 6 notes sound good, but the 6th note doesn't sound good, we tend to squeeze harder. We're not going to make it. We want to win. I'm not saying that's never the solution, but it's probably not the solution. You know, in general, especially those of us who are adults, I bet we have a lot of adults out there at the moment. We got 48 viewers. My gut feeling is we all have enough strength in our fretting hand. Strength is not the issue. But in general, we need to get out of the habit of using way too many muscles. When you make progress, when you master whatever you're working on, I bet you will find that you are not working quite as hard. And when you finally get that thing, you'll think, well, wait a minute, it feels easy now, you know? And many of you have had this exact experience, say, with your first handful of chords, you know, which is so awkward and weird. And you just, it's not that anything got easy. I think one of the things that happened was you relaxed a whole bunch of unessential muscles and let the ones that you needed do the work. I'm not a doctor of anything, but this image, this concept works well for me. Give yourself time to sort out the muscles that that little tiny part of your brain wants to throw at this issue, this problem. And give yourself time to work out which muscles are truly important. Being light with your fretting hand takes work. That's the irony. It takes work. It takes time to learn how to have a light touch. And for heaven's sake, whether you are playing with a pick or bare fingers or some combination of both, you got to have maybe even a lighter touch with your picking hand, your plucking hand. Again, if you squeeze the pick too tightly, your guitar is going to sound terrible. If your picking fingers are stiff and you're pulling and twanging the strings when you do finger picking, not going to sound good. Plus, you're just going to be either way, you're going to be exhausted, right? But it's hard to let go from one human being to another. Someone hands you this little thin piece of plastic. Your instinct is going to be to grab it and not drop it, right? That instinct got us this far in evolution, right? you know? So you're going to squeeze it pretty hard. And you're going to squeeze it, well, for most of us, intuitively, we put it between the tips of our index and thumb, and we pinch it because we are bound and determined to not drop that pick, you know? And then you go to play and it sounds, I'm not even going to do it because it sounds so abrasive and bad. So yeah, so to lighten up your touch, however you hold the pick, do it with a light grip. In general, you want the pick to be on the verge of falling out of your fingers. And if you drop the pick now and then, it's not actually the end of the world. It's actually a good sign. I love when my students drop their pick. It's just proof. It's proof that they are on that end of the spectrum. They're tending towards a loose grip rather than a tight grip. And the same thing with finger picking. Yeah, okay. So it's kind of funny how having a light touch, a light grip, a light approach takes a lot of work. There you go. It just does. It just does. Does it have to be that way? No, but that's what I'm here to communicate. I get it. It takes time. Hopefully me explicitly verbalizing it like this will give you a chance to think, well, am I squeezing harder than I have to? Do my fingers hurt more than they have to? A little bit of pain is not a surprise, but I mean, you really shouldn't be in agony. You really shouldn't be, maybe you're squeezing too hard. Same thing with their picking hand, light, loose. Either way, every once in a while in a practice session, shake out either hand. Just shake them out. You don't want a death grip with your fretting hand. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Hey, Rock Lobster, thank you for your super chat. I appreciate that. Super chats are one way you guys can support what we all do here. There's other ways, but I appreciate super chats very much. Other ways, hey, get yourself something. I've been selling a lot of these books recently. I don't know why this particular one, but I know it's a cool book. If you head over to www.song-bike.com, you can get yourself an electronic copy of this book emailed to you right away. You can download it, print out the whole thing, print out certain pages. Very cool book. I keep it handy on the stand here. I know it seems like if I put it there, then I don't have to remember to plug it. So there it is right there. And I have a bunch of other books right over there at www.song-bike.com. Okay. Hey, we are getting closer and closer to a good time to do our Song of the Week play along. And I could almost introduce it. But let's get right down to it. Okay. I'll get my paperwork. As always, I'm going to try to keep this preparation segment pretty short, just for a few minutes of preparation so we can get right into playing the tune, Our play along song of the night needs no introduction. If I put this here, some of you don't even have to play this. You know exactly what song that is. Someone put that in the chat. What song? I'm going to wet my whistle. Mm-hmm. Who recognized that tab? And if you don't recognize it, go ahead and play it, and then you'll recognize it. The reason I chose this particular song, hey, Live to Fly. Thank you. I appreciate your super chat too. Thank you. Charlie Beagle says, oh God. Wilbur's taking a great guess. Wilbur's so close. The reason I chose this song for our play along song for tonight, everybody learns this part of the song and nobody learns the rest of the tune. So here's what you need to play the rest of the tune. What we're talking about here, Smoke on the Water from Deep Purple. Yeah, tonight's the night. Why not? Don't worry, I'll get back to that other page in a second. Okay, so for a lot of reasons, this is a good choice for us, if I say so myself. Number one, you got to learn the whole tune. You can't just do the... Okay. Number two, power chords. It's just a power chord tune. A very repetitive power chord tune. Now, as you guys know, I try to walk a line between showing you guys exactly how the real song goes, and when I think it's appropriate, boil it down to the absolute essence without worrying about every subtlety in the performance, okay? So right off the bat, we're not going to do the guitar solo in the tune. We're doing the guts of the tune. We're doing what you absolutely need. Remember we were talking about being an advanced player? This is exactly what you need to step up and join in with the band and play Smoke on the Water, right? And get through the tune. Okay, so let's do a couple minutes of preparation, then we'll play it. Okay, this, might as well do the riff real quick, and then we'll get into the power chords and the rest of the tune. Okay, as you guys know, the tune starts off, right? This is the easiest way to play it. Yes, there's other ways of playing it. I'm going to go with the easiest because it's the exact right sound, you know, but yes, there's other ways of playing this. Let's stick with this one. Okay, you're only going to be picking the two center strings, the D and the G strings for this whole riff, right? How you fret it is totally up to you. You could use two separate fingertips. You could use a single finger, like just your index finger the whole time. Or you could do different fingers, but still do bars with each finger. So no matter how you do it, if you're not using two separate fingertips, the alternative involves clamping down hard across two strings. When you do it this way, clamping down, of course, you can't help but to touch the two skinny treble strings. Don't worry about it. Just make sure your pick doesn't hit those strings, okay? All right. So there's the riff, and we'll do that a few times to start off the tune. Now, here's where you get to be the smart person who knows the whole tune. Okay. Power chords, a 3-finger power chord. Okay, now we're going to be using this grip in multiple places. I think the way I have it arranged here, this grip is always going to be on the 3 fat strings. Is there another way of doing it? Yeah, but let's just do it this way because it just makes life easier. Okay. Each power chord is named after the note your pointer finger is touching. When your pointer finger is on 3 on the 6th string, it's a G power chord. Index finger, 6th string, 3rd fret. Ring, 5th string, 5th fret. Pinky, 4th string, 5th fret. So you have a 3, 5, 5. And you're going to pluck them in that order. Bum, bum, bum. Okay. You're going to do that a total of 5 times. See that little X5 times 5 right there? After 5 times, guess what? Just shift your hand backwards 2 frets, an F power chord. Index finger 1 on the fat string, ring finger 3 on the 5th string, pinky 3 on the 4th string. You're only going to do that little bum, bum, bum only 1 time. Hey, by the way, it's an arpeggio. The heart of the song here, this part of the song, is based on arpeggiating 3-finger or 3-string power chords. You're only going to do that F power chord 1 time before returning to the G power chord two last times. Okay? Now, because that is the bulk of what we're about to do, I'm going to go through it slowly. This is going to be monotonous because you're going to hear my dulcet tones saying 1, 2, and so on, okay? But after 5 of the G power chord arpeggio, after 5 of those, back to the F for 1, and then back to the G for 2. Notice 5 plus 1 plus 2 equals 8. Music is full of 8s. Sequences, things happen in groups of 8 a lot. It is not a coincidence. Okay, slow motion. I'm on my G power chord. Here we go. This is not the official play along. We're still in the preparatory mode. Here I go. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6, 7, 8. If that that seems kind of rudimentary. Yeah. So let's learn it. So now you know the whole song. Yeah, easy, right? And that happens over and over again during the verse. You know, we all came out of Montreux on the Lake Geneva shoreline. I think that whole thing I just showed you, I think that happens 4 times. When it goes to the chorus, can you see that little thing down there? A C power chord still on the fat strings, same 3 strings, but just on 8, index finger on 8, your other finger's on 10 and 10. And the vocally, lyrically, smoke on the 4th fret. Smoke on the 4th fret. Smoke on the, you're going to glide your, and I really mean just glide backwards. Don't take your fingers off. Index finger 4 on the 6th string. Remember, we're staying on the same 3 strings this whole time. Water, that's the note A flat, so that's an A flat power chord right there. Just 1 strum is enough. Smoke on the water. Back 1 more fret for a G power chord. 3, 5, 5. Fire in the sky. Now, here's the one time where I'm going to readily admit I'm fudging the tune. There's a cool little riff beyond just that G power chord. There's a cool little riff, Mr. Deep Purple, Richie Blackmore, that he puts in there that is not reflected here in the tab. We'll get back to that another time. Let's not worry about it right now. Smoke on the water, fire in the sky. It goes back up to 8. Smoke on the water. There's the 4th fret. And then, as you veterans know, it goes back to the riff again, okay? So everything you need to play, what we're about to play in hopefully 60 seconds, is reflected on this page or on that page over there. What are the chances of getting both of those in the same shot? I don't know. Maybe. It's live, folks. It's live. Maybe. Does that leave room for me? Don't worry about me. I'm fine. Okay. This is happening, my friends. Smoke on the Water by Deep Purple. If you're ready, I'm willing. Okay. So we're going to do it 3 times. You're going to play through the guts of the tune, the body of the tune 3 times, because that's basically what they do. We're kind of omitting the whole guitar solo section. All right. If you're ready, I'm ready. As usual, we'll take it a little bit slower. Whatever happens, happens. The ultimate goal is not what happens at this moment. The goal is for you to get a feel for this, and tomorrow morning, whenever the time is right, crank up the song and play along with the actual song, you know, and add it to your repertoire. All right, I'll see you on the other side. Let's do this riff a few times to get warmed up. How about 4 times? No, 2 times. Let's do it 2 times, and then we'll get into the verse. 1, 2, 3, 4. We all came out to Montreux on the Lake Geneva shoreline to make records with a mobile. We didn't have much time. Frank Zappa and the Mothers were at the best place around. Some stupid with a flare gun burned the place to the ground. Smoke on the water, fire in the sky. Smoke on the water. Here we go. sound. Funky Claude was running in and out, pulling kids out the ground. When it all was over, we had to find another place. But Swiss time was running out. It seemed that we would lose the race. Here we go. Smoke on the water, fire in the sky. Smoke on the water. One more time. We ended up at the Grand Hotel. It was empty, cold and bare. With the rolling truck stones thing just outside, making our music there. With a few red lights and a few old beds, we made a place to sweat. No matter what we get out of this, I know we'll never forget. Smoke on the water, fire in the sky. Last time, smoke on the water. Here we go. One last time. All right. So that was okay. There are times when I lost track of 5 and then 1 and then 2. That's on me. Remember, this is about you and your progress playing along with the original recording, right? So don't worry about me. I'll be fine. But it shows that for sure what we all need is concentration as much as we need to know how the song goes. So, hey, anybody can do that 5 times if you're counting and concentrating. 4, 5. All right. Now you know the guts of the song, the structure of the song, the feel of the song based on power chords. Yeah, there you go. Smoke on the water. Okay, time to look at the chat. I see lots of stuff going on in the chat. Lots of stuff. Live to Fly says, very cool, Jonathan. I appreciate that. Keep in mind that my hope for all of us is that you learn something from any song. What I say, I found myself saying this today. You can learn something from anything, which I think that's like words I could live by. You can learn something from anything. So whether or not Deep Purple is your thing, hey, now you know, oh yeah, okay, power chords, sometimes you arpeggiate them, sometimes you strum them. Got it. Yeah, then go write your own song. I got a segue. Sometimes when I prepare for our show, little things happen that make me wonder, wow, are there any coincidences? And I don't know, maybe there are no coincidences in this thing we call life. Okay, so check this out. As I mentioned, I'm on vacation next week. My wife got me a very cool magazine, surprised me, like, oh, here's a cool magazine, just a little, fun thing on vacation. And I thought, oh, I'm not going to read it yet. I'm going to save it for vacation. It's the newest copy of Blues Music Magazine, Ruthie Foster on the cover right there. And I thought, well, I'm not going to read it. I'm going to save it for vacation. But I'm just going to open up, or just see who's on the cover, who's named, on the cover. And I'm gonna open up the first page. And the very first page is an ad for a big blues festival in Norway, beginning August 1st, so soon. And who's the headliner? Deep Purple. Look at that. Deep Purple is a headliner. I thought, wow, what a coincidence. But the other thing that caught my eye, who else is at the festival? My friend Johnny Bergen is going to be in Norway at this, what they claim is Europe's finest blues experience. And there's Johnny Bergen, man, with all the other blues players. It makes me so happy. I've known Johnny Bergen for 30 years. Maybe not quite 30 years, but so he gets around. I told you, man, last week, I told you, Johnny Bergen, if he's not coming through your town soon, he'll be through your town eventually. He tours all over the world. So that's where Johnny Bergen will be in early August at the Notodden Blues Festival in Norway. Very cool. Anyway, so what a coincidence. I had already thought of doing Smoke on the Water for today's play-along song, and there's Deep Purple headlining this blues festival with Johnny Bergen. Looks great. The Fabulous Thunderbirds are on the bill, and a lot of other folks too. Very cool. So there you go. The other magazine that came in the mail. You guys know I love this magazine so much. Songlines magazine. I'm just, they don't pay me to do this. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I just love this magazine. And there's Layla McCalla on the cover. She's one of my favorites. Layla McCalla, Leyla McCalla. Layla McCalla. Who else is featured in this issue? Other folks that we have talked about on this show. Jake Xerxes Fussell. There's a nice review of his new album in here. Jake Fussell, Fussell. And these folks, I shared their name with you maybe 2 weeks ago. Balake Sissoko and Derek Gripper. Yeah, I'm just holding this up to the camera and I'm pointing right there. So they're featured in this issue as well. So I'm going to save this for vacation. I'm very excited. Anyways, this is what makes me happy. Okay, now we're a long way from over, but this is when I start taking deep breaths and thinking, okay, we got to make sure we accomplish what we came here to do. Randy, thank you for your super chat. Chaz and Bruce, thank you guys. I really appreciate that. Very, very thoughtful of you guys. Super chat is one way you guys can support what we do. Another way, go to song-bike.com and get yourself something, Another way, go to Sweetwater using the affiliate link and get yourself something from Sweetwater. Appreciate it. Okay, so the number one reason I'm here is for your questions, and your questions mean a lot to me for a lot of reasons, including you guys, more than you know, you have an effect on what I'm going to be teaching, in the future. I do my job 7 days a week. It's a pretty fun job. I like it. And I like to think I have a pretty open mind. So when someone says something, Bruce's thing about, what's next after being intermediate? What are the signs? How do you know you're not intermediate anymore? These things will roll around in my little brain, and 100% will come out in some form or another in my teaching, in very soon, Hey, Deborah, you were asking about Ticket to Ride. You're talking about like arpeggiating those chords. If yes, it is similar. If you're talking, I love that riff from Ticket to Ride. What a great riff. If you're talking about grabbing a chord and arpeggiating it, then very much you're exactly right. Instead of strumming, you are playing the individual notes totally. Hey, for what it's worth, Ticket to Ride, never miss an educational opportunity. An A major chord with the beautiful, colorful addition at just the right moment of the open B string, but not yet. So grab your A chord. Open fifth string. I recommend doing it with a downstroke. with an upstroke, hit the first, second, third strings. Let go of your second skinny string. Pluck that string open, and the first skinny string open. What a cool riff. I mean, how do you make a whole song out of that? It's not the whole song, but you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, it's so simple, and yet, oh, what a cool riff. Someday, you know what we could do? We could do a whole Beatles show, where, a combination of playing a Beatles song together, but also maybe music theory relating to the Beatles, some guitar techniques relating to the Beatles. I would love that, So Deborah, maybe that, hopefully I interpreted what you said correctly. Charlie Beagle asked, do any of your students from the shop watch this? Yeah. Yep. As well as I do a certain amount of students online as well. As some of you know, let's say ballpark, I have 40 students a week, ballpark. At this point, I would say 20%, maybe 8 students are online students. That's a pretty fair amount. I would have to, but yeah, so some of them watch the live stream too. I really only know who is watching based on who's in the chat and anyone who actually tells me, oh, I saw your live stream Saturday night. But like there's 41 of you watching right now. And let's say hypothetically, there's 21 of you in the chat. Well, the other 20 people, YouTube doesn't give me that information, which is fine. Willie Snetter says, do you ever just wake up and want to learn a new song? I like that attitude. For me, every day or almost every day I teach, a student says to me, can we learn such and such a song? And so learning new songs is, I face that, as part of my daily routine. But sure, there'll be times I hear a cool song, I think, ooh, especially if it sounds like when you hear a song, you think I could probably do that. Something about it, you just maybe recognize the chord, recognize the strum or something. I definitely have that happen where I think, ooh, maybe I'm driving. I think, ooh, next time, whenever I'm sitting down in a chair with a guitar handy, I'm going to pull that song up on Spotify again, and I think I could learn that song. Yeah. And if I'm smart, no matter what, I write down whatever I learned and file it away. I have a heck of a filing cabinet. Okay, Chris, I see your question there. Excellent. I'll get to that in a moment. Okay, before I forget, I always like to say, if somebody has asked a question a little while ago, 5 minutes, 10, 20 minutes ago, and I haven't answered it yet, please just ask it again. It's just possible that I missed it. Do make sure you put some question marks in advance. Okay. Yeah, Chris, let's get to what Chris asked about. I had a feeling this might come back. Chris says, hey, can you talk about improvising over that tore down riff? Yes, for sure. Let my brain process for a second here. I'm going to illustrate the tore down riff very quickly and then talk about what you can do on top of it. The classic blues riff, I hope I've done a video on how to play this song on YouTube. I don't remember. I hope I have. I'll show you the riff, and then I'll show you the 3 places you put the riff, and then I'll talk about improvising on top of it. I'm Tore Down, made famous by Freddie King. He did not write the tune. I think Sonny Thompson was the songwriter. A lot of people have covered this, including Eric Clapton, and really any blues player seems to have taken a crack at this tune. It's a great tune. But Freddie King, he's the man. Okay. Starting on your 6th string, 8/8. 4th string, 10/10 with your ring finger. 4th string, 8/8. fifth string 10-10. I'm using my index and ring, and I'm doing a down up on each one of those notes. C, C, B flat, G, C, 10, 8, 10. By the way, that first jump is an octave, going from a low C, 8th fret, 6th string, to a high C, higher C, 10th fret in the 4th string. So it's in my mind, it's an octave riff. It's a blues riff, but that's how I keep it straight in my mind. Like, oh yeah, the tore down riff is an octave. First thing that happens, you jump up an octave. Okay. The other two ways you play this riff, the other two locations, bass at the 1st fret, which is the note F, 1st fret on the 6th string, and the 3rd fret on the 6th string, which is the note G. Okay, same riff, same combination of fingers, same everything, but instead of being based on 8 on the 6th string, the song also includes the same riff based on 1st fret of the 6th string and 3rd fret, all with your index and ring fingers. So that's what's going on rhythmically. It's a blues in the key of C. Therefore, the C minor pentatonic scale, or even better, the C blues scale, which gives you one more bluesy note, that's the easiest, most obvious way to solo. And just to get you up and running, the C minor pentatonic scale, based on that 8 on the 6th string, 8, 11, do the 11 with your pinky. On the 5th string, 8, 10, using your index and ring. 4th string, 8, 10. 3rd string, 8, 10. 2nd string, 8, 11 again. And 1st string, 8, 11. So 8, 11, 8, 10, 8, 10, 8, 10, 8, 11, 8, 11. C minor pentatonic scale. I'll put that in the description of this video. To turn the C minor pentatonic scale into the C blues scale, you add one note, but you add a low version and a high version of that note. Here it comes. 6th string is still 8, 11. 5th string, 8, 9, 10. Hear that 9? Ooh, so juicy. 4th string is still 8, 10, like it was before. 3rd string, 8, 10, 11. Oh, what a great sound, right? There's that bluesy note, that 11. 2nd string is still 8, 11. 1st string is still 8, 11. So we added, it seemed like, I played 2 new notes, but in either situation, the note I added was the note G flat. I did a lower and a higher version. So in principle, I only added one note to the C minor pentatonic scale. I just added a low and a high version. See what I'm saying? So. I'm playing it fast, not to show off, but it's not even particularly fast. Some of you are like, don't worry, dude, you weren't showing off. Scales sound so good, even just a humble scale. It sounds so good as you link the notes together in a smooth way. I'm doing down up picking. It doesn't sound like a scale, right? Especially a blues scale. It doesn't sound like, quote, just a scale, when the notes just flow smoothly, Yeah. Now you could pull up the Freddie King version. I think Eric Clapton also does it in the same key. I think everyone does it in C. Hopefully they do. So you don't have to, just play along with it. Play that that C blues scale, improvise on top of it. But if it's you and a friend, yeah, take turns swapping between soloing, improvising with the C blues scale, and that rhythm guitar part. I realized I didn't give you that rhythm guitar part in the order of the typical 12-bar blues, but just know it's a 12-bar blues in the key of C. And I'm pretty sure I did a video on playing the rhythm guitar part. Rock Lobster, yeah, you're asking about visiting music stores. I think this Wednesday is part of, I'll be on vacation in Maine all this week coming up. Again, no live stream next Saturday, okay? No live stream Saturday, August 3rd. I'll be thinking of you guys. I'm taking that Saturday off. So Rock Lobster, I'm thinking this Wednesday, I'll be in Maine. It looks like kind of a rainy day. So maybe Wednesday will be the day that I think I want to check out Buck Dancer's Choice up in Portland, because I like Portland in general. And Buck Dancer's Choice just seemed like such a cool place. They've been there a long time. But please follow me on Facebook or Instagram, because that's when I'll definitely let people know, hey, I'll be at Buck Dancer's Choice in Portland at 2 p.m. or something. So just head over to Facebook or Instagram. But that's my tentative plan. Wednesday late morning, early afternoon kind of thing at Buck Dancer's Choice. So yeah, please do. Anybody who lives in the vicinity of Portland, Maine, I love, that's how I got to know Rock Lobster. Val, I don't know if you're still in the chat, but Val stopped by Gary's Guitars in Portland. When I was at Toontown in Wells, Maine, a woman came in. She said, okay, I don't know you, but my brother watches you on YouTube, and my brother asked me to come by and say hi, because my brother lives, she told me her brother lived in one of the Carolinas maybe, but said, oh, this guy Jonathan's going to be in your neck of the woods. We just go and tell him, say hi and whatever. And so each place I went, I made a little connection. That felt awesome, so you guys are all invited. Be happy to, I'd love to shake some hands and say hi. And hey, if you've never been to Buck Dancer's Choice in Portland, Maine, very cool place, big place, and they've been there for a long time. And as much as I talk about, shop at Sweetwater and use the affiliate link, and then I get 1% of the sale, whatever. I'm a big believer in mom and pop stores, and I've worked in one, I've owned one, I still basically own one, even though most of what we do in our music shop is lessons. But I only want the best for mom and pop stores, and I love supporting them whenever I can. I encourage you guys to do that too. So if you've never been to Buck Dancer's Choice in Portland, think about making a little road trip there this Wednesday, and come say hi. Okay, Live to Fly, thank you for joining us. Your phone is dying. I get it. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate that. Okay, now, by my clock, we got about, I'd like to go for about another 25 minutes or so. So let me throw a few things your way. I'm going to bang out a couple of things that may be entertaining. Let's talk about the coolest guitar players on YouTube, and we're going to tie this in with that movie, the documentary called It Might Get Loud. Okay, so if you have not seen it, there's a documentary, 3 famous guitar players talking about themselves and then hanging out together. And my friend Clay and I were watching, or we're talking about it. It came out years ago. Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin, Jack White from the White Stripes, and The Edge from U2. And we appreciated what the filmmakers are doing, but we thought we didn't feel like chemistry. So we started talking about who should be in, if they were to remake it. And we right away came up with the name Bill Frisell. Bill Frisell is a pretty fascinating guy, not a household name. I get it. But Bill Frisell, he just seems to be an omnivore, so to speak. I mean, he's a jazz player, but he made a great album doing Beatles songs, instrumentals, where he stayed true to he didn't try to jazz up Beatles songs. Anyways, Bill Frisell, fascinating guy, 100% worth you guys checking him out. So in the description, have I done it yet? No, I'm going to do it right now. In the description of this video, you're going to find links. Here we go. I'm doing it right now. To each one of the people that I'm about to mention. There we go. Copy. Oh, I don't think I can put it in the description while I'm live, but I will put it in the description. So we thought, okay, new version of this documentary. Let's get Bill Frisell in there. Seems like a heck of a nice guy. Plays all sorts of styles of guitar, and would be a great place to start. Okay, so who would be number 2? Who else would you get in there? You got Bill Frisell. Thought, okay, second guitar player. What about Derek Trucks? Number 1, yes, he's a great player. Also seems like a really cool guy. Okay, let's get Derek Trucks in there. Known for his slide playing, but again, still strikes me as a very versatile guy and super nice guy. Let's throw him in there with Bill Frisell. So we got Derek Trucks, Bill Frisell. Let's come up with a third player. Okay. So I did a little digging. I forget in the moment, I think we were talking about Billy Strings as being the third player, young guy known for his bluegrass style flat picking. I came up with another name though. I thought, you know what? I thought about it because again, this is what I think about when I should be watching the road. You know, making sure my gas tank isn't on fumes, you know, whatever. Nile Rodgers. Yeah, man. So I pull up a video and I have every guy I'm talking about, I'm going to, as soon as this live stream is done, I'm going to put a link to a very specific, a curated list, if you will, of 3 videos. One for Nile Rodgers teaching kind of a master class, which it was so fun to watch. Bill Frisell talking about this cool album he did, not just any Beatles songs, but specifically Beatles songs associated with, written by John Lennon. And then a cool interview with Derek Trucks. It happened to be a Derek Trucks interview from quite a few years ago, but still a very cool interview. Okay, so the Nile Rodgers thing was so cool. He was in France talking about the chords behind some of the most famous songs that he was involved with Chic and whoever else he's been involved with over the years, a lot of famous people. And it was so cool hearing him talk about the music theory involved and how he chose the chords and what it all meant to him. And just see like the nicest guy in the world. So there's that video link. You'll see a YouTube video link for Nile Rodgers. Another one, interview with Derek Trucks. And then another, that one's more like a pure interview, I think. And then the Bill Frisell one, like I said, is him specifically promoting this John Lennon album that was from a few years ago, but at that time, that was like what he was being interviewed about and talking about. So at the moment, those are my picks. If I could remake that movie, I would do it with Bill Frisell, Derek Trucks, and Nile Rodgers. I would love to see those 3 guys hang out together and talk about stuff. I just think it would be musically entertaining, philosophically enlightening. I think that'd be so cool. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Can you think of people that you would like to see? And 3 is a great number. 3 guitar players sitting in a room, just playing, talking about each other, you know. Who would you like to see? Obviously, I picked those 3 guys. I'm putting Billy Strings on hold for the moment, you know, but Billy Strings came to mind. I don't know. So fun. So this is what Clay and I talk about when we're trying to rehearse tunes and get our own little act together. But then we take a break and a subject like this comes up and yeah. Okay. Willie Snyder asks me, have I ever met a musician that you idolize? Not in the way that you mean. I mean, I got B.B. King's autograph. He was doing a book signing when his autobiography came out. This would have been the late 90s. But that seemed like a very nice guy. But I just got his autograph. So I've met some. The people I've met are not necessarily people that household name people. Jimmy Johnson, known for all those cool Muscle Shoals, Alabama, you know, recordings. He's one of the studio musicians out in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. I got to meet Willie Snyder. I got to meet Jimmy Johnson. David Hood, the bass player, also, you know, known for Muscle Shoals. Poor David Hood. I got to tell his story. It says more about me than about David Hood. Long story short is I was working on a project. And I want to interview David Hood. David Hood, one of the most awesome bass players, played on a lot of hit songs. And I believe his main operation is based out of Muscle Shoals, Alabama. Okay. And I'll let you guys Google him to see all the different things he's played on. So I had a date to interview him, and someone said, oh, long story short, he's in this band. They're doing this rehearsal for this big thing. But go down there and you guys can talk about exactly when you're going to interview them. So I go to this place where they're rehearsing. There's a big auditorium, and I'm focused, man. I am nothing if not focused when I have a goal in my mind. And I'm thinking, okay, they're rehearsing, but they're going to take a break at some point. And as soon as they take a break, I'm going to hustle over to David Hood, reintroduce myself, and say, hey, when's a good time to do this interview? So eventually they take a break, and I'm hustling. And David Hood is walking, backstage or something. I'm hustling. I'm going to catch up to David Hood. So and I notice he's walking kind of fast. So I'm walking kind of fast. I'm like, damn, man, he's in a hurry. But I call his name. I catch up to him, and he very politely turns around and, oh, yes, he remembers me. Super nice guy. And yeah. And so I'm explaining to him why I'm there and who I am and when I'm available. And we set up a tentative plan. He goes, yeah, man, I hate to cut this conversation short, but I really got to get to the men's room. There you go. nicest guy. Didn't have the heart to tell me, buddy, give me a minute. Just give me a minute, Mr. Excitable Boy. Give me a minute. David Hood. David Hood's son, some of you might recognize the band that he's in called the Drive-By Truckers, Patterson Hood. If you know the Drive-By Truckers, that's David Hood's son. Okay, so have I met any guitar players I idolize? Not the household names. No. I've met a lot of super talented people, that's for sure. And some of them, I've told you guys some of those stories last week. Oh, before long, our show's going to wrap up in about 15 minutes. Would you take me at my word if I told you you're going to want to stick around to the end? You're going to want to stick around. If you can make it a few more minutes, I saved something special for the end of the show. Not even joking. Got something special. Okay. In the link to this video, in the description, I keep saying link. In the description of this video, I'm going to put a link. I think it's a link from the Berklee College of Music. Real short. I just started reading this myself. Senior citizen aged man is getting back into playing the guitar after not playing for 60 years. And he's doing it through the online classes at Berklee College of Music. And what's significant is this gentleman, Richard Boyatzis, Boyatzis, Richard Boyatzis. He is a highly trained person, undergrad at MIT, PhD from Harvard, and his specialty involves learning, motivation, inspiration, and he's not just talking the talk, but he's walking the walk and seeing what he can do at an advanced age, getting back into the guitar pretty seriously, and has a lot to say about why he's doing it and what's motivating him. So I'm going to share that link with you guys could I put it in the chat right now? Oh, maybe I can. Yeah, look at that. Okay, I'm going to put it in the chat, but if you guys, let's see if this, oh, you know what? It's a super long link. I'm going to try, but YouTube doesn't like too many characters in the chat. Nevertheless, I'll put it in the description of this. Okay, if this works, great. If not, I get it. No, it's too long. Sorry. Okay, but that's something that I am fascinated by, because I fully intend to be an old dude someday, and I fully intend to do my best to make music on any instrument, at a certain point. In case you can't wait for me to put it in the chat, the link, it's like online.berklee.edu. Berklee is spelled Berklee. Online.berklee.edu/take note, all one word, TAKENOTE, take note. That'll get you in the ballpark, but okay. Another thought that popped in my head, music documentaries and also music biographies to some extent too. They make me crazy. You know why? They talk about the person's careers, the band's evolution, all that stuff. They never talk about how someone got good. It's like he got the guitar at 11 for his birthday. And then it always seems to move forward to like, at 15, his band was chosen. Like, wait, what happened? How did they get that good? What happened? I don't know. I understand it's not their job to teach us how to get good at the guitar in this music documentary. I get it. But you ever notice how it's always the same thing? Makes me crazy. Another weird question. Do YouTubers watch their own videos? Yes. I'll give you an example. Clay said to me, hey, you know what song we should do, man? We should do Brothers in Arms by Dire Straits. That'd be a cool song to cover. And I said, yeah, I think 6 years ago I made a video on how to play it. I should just watch it again. And I did. I made a video on how to play Brothers in Arms. I have no idea. I'd have to go back and watch it again. So do YouTubers ever watch their own videos? Oh, yeah. I hope it's a good video, because that's going to be my go-to source for how to play Brothers in Arms by Dire Straits. We'll see what happens. Okay. When I was a young man, a guy came to my college and it was so good, make my hair stand up. And I can't remember if I shared this guy's name with you before. If not, real quick, George Baze, B-A-Z-E. He was playing guitar with the headliner, the man of the hour, Sugar Blue, the harmonica player Sugar Blue. When you hear the Rolling Stones song called Miss You, that's Sugar Blue on harmonica. Freshman year of college, a whole bunch of student groups pooled their money and got Sugar Blue to play on campus. He played in one of our cafeterias. And it was my first time. I was a young guy. I was barely 18, right? My first time seeing really pro blues musicians right there, like right in front of you, full volume, rocking out. And I think the band played for a few minutes before Sugar Blue came out, right? And man, George Baze, B-A-Z-E, on electric guitar right there in front of me. I didn't know who he was. In fact, I reached out to my buddy Johnny Bergen before tonight's show. I said, man, there's a guy named George something who was playing with Sugar Blue in 19, blah, blah, blah. And of course, Johnny knew exactly who it was, because that's him. So I will be putting a link to a George Baze video in the description of this video. I was playing more acoustic guitar at that time, but I went home and I really had to. I had never seen such great playing. Right. I mean, I've been to concerts like at a stadium or something. Anyone, the Worcester Centrum in Worcester, Massachusetts. But that, you know what I'm talking about, right? That's not the same as a guy right there in the room with you. And like, it was the best guitar playing I'd ever been in the same room as, like, holy cow. Anyways, so George Baze, he's no longer with us, but I want to mention that. At the time, I thought to myself, why am I playing acoustic guitar? I mean, what that guy just did, that was just the best playing. That was the coolest thing in the world. I stuck with acoustic guitar for a lot of years after that, but yeah. So there you go. Do you want to follow up? Give George Baze a little shout out. Okay. In a moment, we will get to the negative comment that came in. I was going to say negative comment of the week, but we don't get too many negative comments here at SongBike. I'm grateful for that, but we don't get too many. I have two more things, quick things before we get to that. It might be time for me to sell out, my friend. So I want to run this past you. I might appear like a man of integrity, but sometimes even I have moments when I think to myself, ooh, there could be a lot of money involved in that. And that sounds pretty good. So you want to hear the offer? And I don't know, you guys tell me what you think, because maybe I should do this. Just take my whole tax bracket and just kick it up, a little bit. I'm not going to name any names, but you guys tell me, what do you think? If this would be, some that you guys would want to spend your money on, if I promote it and you guys would say, wow, Just wow, take my money. Dear SongBike, I hope this email finds you well. My name is the marketing manager of To give you a brief introduction, is an innovative and sophisticated perfume brand founded by art enthusiasts. Our main products are niche artistic perfumes. This is our website. We really appreciate the content you created and are truly impressed by them and the engagement you have with your audience. That's you guys. We believe that your unique style, and it goes on and on. I don't know, you guys, perfume. I like a good perfume. This might be it. Tonight might be the night. I might just go for it. All perfume all the time. So imagine, like, you know, we talk, I answer some questions, and then I'm like, I bet you wish you could smell this. I don't know. That was a step up from the other one that I got, in case selling out to the perfume wasn't good enough. Hello, SongBike. This is from We kindly request a collaboration. Blank is a company specializing in various clothing and costumes for your beauty and comfort. Beauty and comfort. A lot of you guys might choose one or the other. Why not have both? Here's the info about this campaign. Brand name, blank. Product type, flannel, plaid, shacket, jacket. And they sent me a picture of a woman wearing this jacket. May I know the rate of a YouTube video on your channel? You guys, what's my rate? What should I charge them to promote this woman's flannel jacket? Looking forward, she says, looking forward to your reply. Best regards. I get a couple of these a week. They are wearing me down. What if I did the flannel and the flannel plaid jacket and the perfume? Okay, let's get back to business, because I don't want to provoke any negative comments. Okay, last musical thing before we get into the negative comment of the night. Oh, perfect timing. Okay, there is a terrific guy, and I'm going to put his name in the chat because he's posting stuff on social media that I really enjoy, how to get good at the guitar. And I believe I gave him a shout out recently, maybe even last week, but I did not teach you guys what I learned from him. What I'm going to show you is here's how he got my attention, not by perfume or jackets. He said, hey, you guys, here's an exercise I've been doing for 30 years. I'm like, you have my attention. Okay. And so this is his thing, but I've named it the 30-year exercise because the actual thing that you're about to see me do is a C chromatic scale. Yeah. That doesn't sound very interesting. 30-year exercise sounds interesting. Now, I know you can't see this. Don't worry, because in this one instance, this tab may not be the fastest way for you to learn what you're going to do. I'll play it, and then I'll walk you through it. This is only going to take a minute. Okay, so what I just do, using all 4 fingers, using all 6 strings, I played every musical note from C on the 6th string, that's the 8th fret, through to C on the 1st skinny string, also 8 on the 8th fret on the 1st string. Chromatic means playing every possible note, every fret, every note. But you only have 4 fingers at a time. So there's a pattern involved here. I'm on the 6th string, index finger on 8. I play 8, 9, 10, 11. I've used all 4 of my fingers. I did down, up picking. I'm not going to harp on the down, up picking, but just know that down, up picking with your picking hand is the way to go. 6th string, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now, instead of reaching up to 12, I don't have any fingers left anyways, I can get the same sound by playing 7 on the 5th string. Great. On the 5th string, I'm going to go 7, 8, 9, 10. The pattern continues. On the 4th string, 6. On the 5th string, sorry, on the 3rd string, I'm starting on the 5th fret. So see what's happening here? My index finger keeps moving backwards 1 fret as I go from string to string. Sixth string, my index is on 8. Fifth string, it's on 7. Fourth string, it's on 6. Third string, it's on 5. Now, when I move to the second string, stay on 5. That's because the G and the B strings have that weird relationship. It is what it is. First skinny string, 4. I end up with my pinky on 7, right? First skinny string, 4, 5, 6, 7. To get to the peak of the mountain, so to speak, my pinky has to just hop up to 8. Because remember, that was my goal, right? From 8 on the 6th string, playing every musical note until I get to 8 on the 1st string. Okay, so I just did a C chromatic scale ascending using all 4 of my fingers, using all 6 strings down at picking. I can see why someone would do this as part of their practice routine, right? Great warm up, just a very cool exercise. But we're only halfway there. You okay with this? Here comes the second half. My pinky is on 8 on the 1st string. I'm going to descend 8, 7, 6, 5. On the 2nd string, I'm going to reach up to 9. 3rd string also 9. Again, why are the 2nd string and 3rd string the same? It has to do with the relationship of the G and B strings. But on the 4th string, I'm hopping up to 10. 5th string, pinky on 11. 6th string, pinky on 12. And just like before, to get to that final note, I'm going to have to hop. My index finger is on 9 at the moment. I'm going to hop my index finger back down to 8. And I've concluded the C chromatic scale. Okay, so a different approach when I was on the skinny string heading over to the fat string, but it's still just a pattern, right? So I'm happy to hold up this PDF to the camera in a second so you can get a good look at it. But I think chances are your brain just got the idea. 8, 9, 10, 11 on the 6th string. And now my index finger is going to be a reference point. Index finger on 8, on 7, on 6, on 5, 5 again, 4, and the pinky hops up to 8. Now my pinky finger is going to be a reference. Pinky on 8, pinky on 9, 9 again, 10, 11, 12, and that hop. There you go. So the 30-year exercise taught to me, thanks to his Instagram reel, I think it was an Instagram reel, by Nobuki Takamen. Many vibes, yeah, that weird relationship, the G string and the B string, the interval, the musical interval between those two strings is known as a third. B is the 3rd note of a G scale. Okay, that's great, except every other pair of adjacent strings, the relationship is a 4th, like E to A, fat E string going to A, that's a 4th. A to D is a 4th. So every other relationship, when you compare 2 adjacent strings on the guitar, is the same relationship known as a 4th, except G and B. So when you're doing like cool finger patterns, when you're doing tons of stuff on the guitar, and all of a sudden the G and B strings get involved, it's extremely common that you have to make some sort of adjustment to the pattern that was going so smoothly until the G and the B strings got involved. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to hold this up to the camera and you guys can take a good look at it, but it might just look like a whole bunch of crazy numbers. I don't even know if the camera can focus on that. But here we are at the 2 hour and 3 minute point. And I think this is one of those rare times when memorizing it, seeing the pattern for what it is more helpful than seeing it written out in tab. But there you go. Okay, it's time. It's time. Did I build up? Did I whet your appetite for the negative comment? This will be the last thing of the night. Before I get to the negative comment, I want to thank you guys for being here. It means a lot to me that you guys are here. Some of you have been here for 2 hours. Awesome. I appreciate that. So thank you. Those of you who made super chat donations, thank you. I appreciate that. No live stream next Saturday. Don't forget that. Very likely this Wednesday, I will be at Buck Dancer's Choice in Portland. But nothing's carved in stone. I'll be posting on Instagram or Facebook about those details. Next time I see you, August 10th, I should, knock on wood, have my new guitar. I'm so happy about that. So excited. First new guitar in like 20 years or so. Again, our sponsor is not really a sponsor, Fox and Park. Okay, so here we go. Let's end on this note. Every once in a while, I get a negative comment, and I appreciate constructive criticism like anyone else does. But there's a problem with this particular constructive criticism. There's a couple problems with it. But I thought, well, it doesn't mean we can't, just because it was problematic criticism, doesn't mean we can't enjoy it. So I'm going to call him Jacob. Jacob said, or he was commenting on actually one of our live streams, one of our recent live streams. And how should I begin? There are a couple problems I have with what Jacob said. One of which was he was commenting on the wrong live stream. So his comment, which is gone now, but his comment was on, it referred to live stream 56 2 weeks ago. He was commenting on the content of that one, but he put it on episode 57. So that was confusing, and it took me a minute to figure out why there's a disconnect. So I'm going to read you his comment, and I wish if I were smart, I would just read you the select sentences. If I were to read the select sentences, and like they do with movie reviews, when they just have like ellipses, like this movie, great. So if I were to just read the bare minimum, here's what Jacob said, and I'll read you the whole comment in a minute. Well, you put a lot of work into this. I like your singing. You work hard and put a lot in. You have great knowledge. Now, a wise man would leave it just at that and say, hey, hey, you guys, I received this great comment online, but the comment did not end there. Well, okay, so what did he actually say? And there's a reason why this is taking me a minute. Well, partly because I'm an idiot. But he did not end. His comment did not end. Let me see if I can do this properly. I have a whole routine planned out here. Come on. I know you guys like, what the heck is going on? Where did this go off the rails? This was going to go smoother. Hold on, wait for it. I think I found what I need. Okay, so I am going to read his comment, and I am going to wrap up the show on this comment. I just thought it'd be more fun if I read it. Okay, if I read his whole comment like this. Well, come on. Well, there we go. So his comment, let's even get a little higher. Okay, now we're talking, my friends. So this is the comment I received from Jacob on the wrong video. A comment that made no sense. It made no sense because he said the opposite of everything. Jacob said, well, you put a lot of work into this. I like your singing, but your showing the sixths was pitiful and poorly shown, sloppy. It didn't even sound like you were in tune. A sloppy mess. You didn't really show how to use it. I would suggest you concentrate more on your lessons rather than chin wagging about your glory days, etc. You work hard and put a lot in, but live doesn't mean half-assed. You have great knowledge. but no excuse for sloppy work. Do it right or don't do it. You can do better. P.S. You were choking on the strings, and your guitar sounded bad and out of tune. Less yap and more substance and quality would help. All right, there we go. Was it worth waiting for? Pretty cheap helium. I feel my voice coming back already. Dang. Well, it was $1.50 at the supermarket. I tried. Anyways, he likes my voice. Aww. That's my takeaway. I went back and watched the watch episode 56. Man, you know, we covered in episode 56. We covered so much good stuff. That was the one we talked about Rory Gallagher's guitar for sale. We talked about the cage system, Brian Sutton cross-picking exercise, that complete book of scales, chords, and arpeggios. We talked about why don't famous musicians teach us how to play their songs. We talked about, the song we did where he liked my voice so much was Dreams, where I appreciate that comment a lot because I'm no Stevie Nicks. We talked about the idea of guitar karaoke. We talked about, I named a bunch of the people in Chicago who meant a lot to me. I guess that's what he was talking about with the glory days. I don't know. Different C chords up the neck. The G major scale harmonized with 6. I don't know, it sounded pretty good to me, you know? So after all that, his comment was like, it just made no sense. And I thought, well, when something doesn't make sense, bring out the balloons. All right, you guys, on that note, I think I've done enough. You guys have been very patient with me. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks, unless maybe I see you on vacation if you happen to be in the great state of Maine this coming week. Thank you, guys. I will see you in 2 weeks. Be well, make good choices, play the guitar as much as you can. Thanks again for being here. Thank you for the super chats. I'll see you in a couple weeks, guys. Take care.